I'm CK. Today we're going to be doing something that I haven't done on the channel before, a guitar pedal. This is from stumac.com. I've successfully built, I think, 7 guitar amps from them. I have had less success with their pedal kits. I've tried a couple of them and gotten mixed results. So we'll give this one a try. This is their Screamer distortion pedal. And we'll give it a try. Hopefully it'll all work out well. It'll be a little different than what we usually do because there'll probably be a minimal circuit board with a bit of point-to-point wiring inside to hook up the jacks and the pedal switch and whatever knobs they are. So it'll be pretty much fun. And I hope you enjoy the video. Again, it's from Stumac. It's their Screamer kit. And one thing that will be interesting is, because you have to work inside the enclosure a lot, we'll see how I can do with getting the camera to record things well. I hope it'll all be good. And by the way, I got a Diodaro 9-volt DC adapter for the kit when we actually get it up and running. But first, let's open the box. I'll pull out a whole bunch of the stuff. Thank you for purchasing this. Here we have, I'll get the box ready for recycling. And we'll start with the case. These are good little pot metal cases. You can buy just the blank metal cases from them if you want to build up your own stuff or use them as project boxes. So let's look at the minimal circuit board first, and I will need my scissors to open that up. I gotta get new scissors. And here is the little circuit board. It's got a bunch of resistors, some connectors, capacitors. Looks like one transistor here. Actually, that might be a power voltage regulator. Then apparently there's a chip here, JRC4558 Delta. Diode. And some more connections probably going to the pedals or other indicators. And here is one of our favorite connectors, or one of our favorite circuit boards. This is the circuit board where the push button switch, the pedal switch, to turn it on and off will go. Here's the big hardware. Here's some connective wire. I have tons of wire. I may not use this. I may use some other wire, depending on how I feel. Here's one input or output jack. Another input-output jack. As you'll notice, all these are in individual plastic bags, which kind of irritates me, but that's okay. Then we've got our potentiometers. And these two are plastic-backed, so they won't ground to the circuit board. Here's the big foot switch, which goes on that little board I showed you a couple of seconds ago. Input power jack. Here is some sticky tape. Here is the LED shield for the on-off or on bypass. And here's another pot. I don't know what that one's for. And I'm going to sneeze, so there's going to be an audio glitch. And here are our knobs, and these are always good. They give us good knobs. These are good hard phenolic knobs with brass inserts and good set screws. So they're quality. Nothing else in that bag. Then here we have our electronics, which I'll put in this parts tray. And in here is the little chip I mentioned before. I'll look that up between now and when I come back to start the build. And here's all our accessory, passive and other components. And we've got the 2SC1815. I think that's a voltage regulator. Again, I'm not certain. And this one is another 1815. Huh. Diode, some foil caps, some electrolytic caps, and an LED. Let's see what color it is. They tend to use white in my experience. Let's see what this one is. It's bright white, blue white, 3.1 volts. So that's all the bits and pieces. As you can see, it's not a lot of stuff. If this were a Eurorack pedal or a general purpose board with just a circuit board, this would be a half-hour assembly. But when we get around to wiring all the pots and the switch and the LED, it takes a little bit longer than that, just because you're doing point-to-point and jiggering things around to get them to fit and travel right. But in general, this will be pretty straightforward. And I will download the build guide, get the soldering iron heated up, and we'll start putting this thing together. Oh, by the way, there's the stickers to put on the pedal board. I mean on the pedal case. Before we get started soldering, I'm going to paint the enclosure because we want to have that out of the way, and because it's a screamer, I'm going to use yellow paint. I use Rust-Oleum on these hobby boxes. It works really well. So I'm going to go off and do that. You don't need to see me doing that. So there's the box, painted yellow. I've only shot it with one coat of yellow because I don't really, I'm never going to be gigging around with this, so I don't care if it gets a little crunchy. So the next thing I'm going to do, and I'm doing this based on my past experience, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the decals on, and then after I've got the decals on, I'm going to shoot it with gloss clear coat, again from Rust-Oleum. And the reason why I do that is it keeps any possibility of the stickers peeling up or being scraped off, really reduces that. Now the first thing I'm going to do is get my carbide tipped pliers and cut the little index pins off the potentiometers, because the box is not drilled for those. And again, I use my carbide tipped ones because this type of metal will not mar or damage the jaws at all. So what we're going to do is I'm going to temporarily mount the pots. I'm going to leave that nut off for right now, but now they're in there temporarily. And of course there's a picture in the build guide that shows you where everything goes. So I'm going to start, God darn it. I'm going to start with these folks on the back. Next thing, oh, see, this is interesting. The curve on the knob stickers is reversed. The build guide shows them arcing up. These will actually arc under. And we will want to put the knobs on. So we make sure our stickers are not covered by the knobs. And again, I'm not tightening anything up here, I'm just setting them in place. So we'll do drive. Which is on this side. I am not getting these perfect. I don't care. And that all looks good. And now we'll put the big screamer picture on it. It's almost too wide. It is a little too wide, huh? God, I just put it over the tone. See, when they moved the tone to the underside, the Screamer label doesn't, blocks it. Well, that's dumb. I have to write to them about that. See how far down we can go. Man, that's really, gosh darn it, that's just sad. I'm going to have to cut. This is, I'm going to cut this out so I can get the foot pedal in, but that's the way it'll look. And take the knobs back off, take the pots back off, and reshoot it with the clear coat. With case prep done, it's time to start putting everything on the board. Oh, I didn't actually look this chip up. Let me do that. Dual operation amplifier. So again, it's just an op amp. Now, where was I? I was in there. There we go. Now we're going to put, they would like us to put the diode on first, which is fine with me, if I can find it. The power conditioning diode, I mean. The 5817, instead of a 4007, but it's a 5817. And we'll put it right here. Oh, I didn't notice. I'm sorry. I thought that, oh, by the way, gray stripe or silver stripe on the diode, and there's a white stripe on the circuit board to show you where that goes, so you get the polarity right. Because this is the diode that's going to make sure if we plug the power in wrong, it won't blow up. Or if we do something silly, like use a center positive power supply instead of a center negative, because if you look around your products, you'll probably see many of them are center positive. This and other guitar pedals take center negative for some reason or other. Now we're going to put more diodes in. Now they would like us to put the transistor on now. I'm going to hold transistors on now. I'm going to hold on that right now. I'm going to do the resistors first, and then I'm going to come back to the transistors. I'm just more comfortable putting the resistors down first. It's just my habit. If you want to do it any other way, feel free. If you want to follow the instructions step by step, feel free. I just am very comfortable doing it my way. I'm going to sort all these resistors out into their various values. So I'll speed through that momentarily. Okay, I've got all the resistors sorted out and in the order of assembly. So let's go to it. It's pretty straightforward. I'm going to see how close I have to bend here. Always an important aspect. This board is pretty good too. It's dual layer, so through-hole plated. Feels pretty good. I do have to bend the leads in a little closer to the body. And now I will solder what I have here and trim stuff off. So that's the way we're going to go. And we've got, what, about 15 more resistors to put on. So we will, and not much more to say about that. So I will speed up the playback, mute the commentary, and we'll get all these resistors on the board, and you can enjoy resistor time. And that's the end of resistor time for this kit. Let me zoom this camera in a little bit more. Now I'll go back and put the transistors in, because as you recall, we skipped those. And we want to make sure the flat side of the transistor lines up with the flat side of the printing on the circuit board. I won't solder them quite yet, because we'll go ahead and put a bunch of the electrolytics on. That's our progress so far. Now we'll do our foil caps, the little boxes. Now we will put the socket on, and it's got a little notch right here, which will match up with the notch painted on the circuit board. Want you to put the chip on now. I typically don't put the chip on until I'm completely done soldering a board, but since this is the way they're doing it in the assembly manual, I'll do it so we'll be in sync with each other. Next, we're going to get some wire, and we're going to add the connections that are going to go outside to the switches and pots and all the other stuff that's going to be going on. But I have to get some wire, so I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so they gave us 24 inches of wire. However, it's all red. And I absolutely confuse myself if all the wire colors are the same. So let me back the camera off a little bit. So instead, I'm going to use a different color wire. Actually, this is this, I need 24. Where's my 24? Actually, let me take a look at this. Is this 24? Yeah, it is 24. Yeah. So I have selection of different colors of 24 stranded, and I'll use this. We need two 8-inch pieces and two 4-inch pieces and 8 2-inch sections. So I will use this multicolor wire for the 2-inch sections so I don't confuse myself. And if you've ever watched some of my other videos, you may have wondered what this white line is on my workbench, and it's a ruler for just this occurrence. Now, as I said, we'll do two. We'll use the lead wire that came with and cut two 4-inch pieces. Now, I'm going to strip the little bit off the ends. Now, again, it doesn't matter what color you put where, or even if you put color on it at all. You could, if you don't have a supply of wire, just use the red wire that they include. I'm going to solder each one as I put it in, because if I don't, again, long experience, if I don't, then as I put the next wire in, the one I just set in will fall out, and so on and so forth, and I'll be chasing my tail. The LED is going to go here, so on the top side of the board, if you want to call this the top side of the board, you have to skip these 2 pins, because that's where the LED will go. We're not putting it on now, because the LED is going to go through the front of the case, and we can't get the dimensions right if I tried to put it on now, so we'll just wait on that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take that board, little bitty guy, and we're going to run out of camera battery power in a couple of minutes. So we'll get this done kind of quickly. This is the foot switch. Now, this side goes down, the switch goes on this side, as it says. So, this goes in pretty snugly. So you may have to manipulate it a little bit to get it in there very well. Make sure it's flat on all 4 corners. Next we're going to be connecting the circuit board to this, but right now the cats are scratching at the door saying it's time for us to get food, so I'm going to take a break and feed them. Now we're going to connect these wires to the little board. And we're coming from the bottom here. And we're going to go, I'm trying to get this right. Going to go from this one, the green one, to out. Now we're going to take these 2 4-inch pieces and we're going to put one through each of the far end holes. So that's the way that looks. Now we're going to do the pots. And we're going to use the case as a template. Now, they gave us this sticky foam stuff to keep the pots from grounding against the circuit board. I only need them on the one, on the tone pot, because the others have these little plastic covers on them. Now we're going to put the circuit board on here and make sure we've got this all right. I'll put it back in here. Oops, and the tone one came out, of course. Just set it in there so they're all oriented correctly. And I'm going to press hard on the chip in the center here to make sure everything's flat on the board. And we put it in, it'll be just right. Volume at 100, drive at 500, and tone at 25. And again, that's why you put the adhesive tape, the foam pad here, or the back of this might just touch the circuit board, and that would not be good. Now we're going to put the LED bezel. Got a couple of different pieces here. But we're going to unscrew this. Come on. The threads are pretty coarse. I'm going to take this and put it through the hole. And screw the nut down. And we're going to be shoving the LED in there, and I dropped my hat. I gotta get my hat. The LED gets this little plastic thing on it, because what this is going to do is we're going to put it in here like so, and we're going to press the plastic thing we just put in there, and that'll hold the LED in place. Now they do say that, let me make sure I've got this right. And I don't, I got it 180 degrees out. So I'm going to pull it back out. Oh no, I don't. I'm actually good. Never mind. Because what we're going to do now, hold on a second, see what I think I've got my head wrong here. So, we do want to take this back out, because the long lead needs to go in the A for anode hole, and the shorter lead through the K for cathode hole. So you will want to get that right. They also suggest you could run some little silicone around that to make sure it doesn't come out, since I'm never going to be dragging this anywhere. Now the next thing is a little tricky, is you've got to kind of feed the LED leads. You got to bend them this way a little bit, spread them out, and I don't have this quite angled correctly. I'm going to do it a different way. I think I can feed these through the top. You could go through the bottom, but I'm not enjoying myself doing that. So I'm going to go through the top. So that goes through like that. You could try and do it the other way. I find it sometimes taking a shortcut like that is just dandy. Now we can screw the pots down. So those are those three in place. That's the way it looks from the inside. We still have obviously these connections to make on the inside, but we'll get to that. Now we're going to put the foot switch through. That works. Got a little cattywampus in the back, but that doesn't much matter. Now, let me get these ends of these. They got frayed a little bit as I was messing about. And we're going to do the input jack. Like so. Okay, wait, no, I'm sorry, we got to do the power jack first. I was sitting there saying, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. I won't have any room. We want the long prong facing this way. And that's the power. And we're going to take this wire, which is, sorry, I didn't notice that the cameras went off. They time out after 30 minutes. So we've got this inside wire going to that side, this inside wire going to the short side. Now we're going to do the jacks, and of course they're identical because they're just mono guitar jacks. Now, this other wire from the circuit board will go to the shield. Let me get my tweezers to pull this back out here. I'm going to strip a little more wire on this because this is a lug, not a circuit board hole. That'll allow me to kind of hook it through. There we go. Oop. Again, it's working inside an enclosure and getting the camera view of it is not the easiest thing in the world. So that will be fine. That's secure. And now we're taking one of the wires that we put on the pedal switch will go to the tip lug, and I'm going to strip that one a little bit more too. And put a little loop in it. And now we flip the output the other way around with the tip going the other way. In other words, you see this is facing the bottom. I've got it facing the top on that one. That just makes sure the lugs are in the right place for the wire coming off the circuit board. Now the outside wire from the circuit board, this one here, and that is that for the inside. Double checking everything, making sure I've got the diode and the IC in right. Now I'm going to take I'm actually not going to put the back on right now because if something's not right, I want to be able to get at it without fussing a bunch. Now we'll just put the knobs on. And because we are never completely sure we've got everything working, I'm going to go ahead and plug this in and make sure at least the LED lights up. Now the switch may be on or off, so I don't know if the light will come on immediately or not. Nope. Now I press it, and the LED comes on at least. Okay, now I'm going to go get an amp and we'll give this thing a try. So that's what we're going to be looking like. What we've got here is we've got Fender Champ knockoff inside a wine case. I built that a couple of years ago just for fun, and got my Project Strat. That's a 1998 Mexican Stratocaster, official Fender, but made in Mexico, Stratocaster. I changed all the hardware to all the black hardware, and that's Fralin pickup board. All three are Fralin pickups. I thought it would jazz it up, and the thing was really ratty anyway. So now it sounds pretty good. Now I'm going to zoom in on the Screamer itself. Now just be aware, I'm primarily a keyboardist. I'm not much of a guitarist, so don't expect any solos. You hear some chords and things. So it's bypassed right now. The LED is off, so it sounds kind of like this. So let's kick it on. Now I've got the volume all the way down right now, so I don't think it'll pass any info down. And it doesn't. I've got tone in the middle, I've got drive all the way down. I'm going to turn volume up about halfway. I'm going to turn that down a little bit on the main amp. So that works. Now I'm going to turn drive up about halfway. You can hear that, right? Little reverb, a little grittiness. Take it dry again. I gotta turn that a little bit down. Now I'm gonna turn drive all the way up. And I'm going to turn the volume down a little bit more. Oh yeah. You can hear that, right? Out. In. So that's really gritty. I'm going to turn tone all the way up. See what that does. If it makes it really trebly. Definitely. So here's dry. Here's with drive all the way up. So it absolutely works, and it's a nice little grinder. Let me turn tone all the way down now and take the drive down some. Still got some grit, but it's very mellow, muffled almost. turn drive up with the tone down. I have to keep adjusting the volume because every time I turn the drive up, it really drives the volume high. It's almost got a vibrato feel to it too. So it's a nice little unit. Let me turn tone to the middle again. So for, I think this is like 60 or 70 bucks on StewMac, and it works. As you notice, I'm going to turn the amp off. As you noticed, the assembly is, pretty straightforward, except for when you have to wire things up. It just takes a little bit of patience. And overall, a pretty good kit. And I hope, and I'm going to screw the back on it when I kick power off. I'm going to screw the back on when I pick it up off the floor. And I hope you enjoyed the video.